Greetings there, Facebookers and YouTuberizers alike, and anyone else who happens to be dropping in. Apparently I'm crooked, or the camera moved. Yeah, that's what happened. Short talk in the trailer with the old guy. By golly. I don't even know the temperature out there today, but it's not a blazer. Maybe 102 or 103. I'm kind of making that up, but I'm hiding in the trailer right now. It's, I think it's 4:45. I think that's about right. And so I've been off work for 2 or 3 hours and did some errands. Got me a new pocket knife. Can't have too many pocket knives. And it's one of the tools that, you know, when you're a plumber, you know, you always use the right tool for the right job. So a pocket knife is like a can opener, a screwdriver, chisel, splinter remover, pencil sharpener. I mean, I don't know how many things you can do with a pocket knife. Of course, you got to keep it sharp, which of course I don't. So what I do is to compensate, you see, very simple, buy cheap knives. So I went over to Harbor Freight and got me like a $10 knife, because every time I buy a nice one like a Gerber or a Buck or something, you know, like, see ya, either I break the blade, snap it in half, or lose the darn thing. And you know, there went $73 down the toilet, or $49.95 or whatever it is. And I always feel like, why did I buy a good knife if I'm just going to throw it away or break it, you know? It's not like I throw them away. It's just, I'm constantly, you should see me, actually you shouldn't. At work, it's just wandering around. What did I do with that level? It was in my hand 4 seconds ago. You know, it's in your pocket, you know. Where's my pen? You mean the one in your hand? That kind of stuff. So my mind's racing 1,000 miles an hour. I'm trying to keep ahead of 6 other guys. Because out of all the guys, I mean, they're young guys. And, you know, the long-term dude, the old man I've got on the site, I trained him last March. 4 months. And he's learning. He's a good worker, young guy. He's in his 30s, I guess. Actually, I don't know how old he is. And Joe, that's a good guy. Anyhow, but the point is that they don't know how to read a blueprint because no one's ever taught them. So what I'm doing is I'm teaching them a little as they go. In other words, there's way too much information in a blueprint to dump on somebody, especially, you know, when you got 4, 5, 6 pages. You don't even want to look at a commercial print, okay? But these are residential, okay? But it's a big house. It's a nice place. I did a short video on that thing the other day. We're out there. We finally finished Plastic Underground today. Had 4 guys on it and barely got it done. Got the water in the system. On a system like this, we do everything below slab. So you have to, you cork the one end with a big rubber ball. Pump, 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 pump. And flood it. You flood test the whole thing all the way up. Every joint in there is submerged underwater, and so we just let it rest like that. If it won't hold water, then you won't pass inspection. That's all. And so you've got to do a static test. So next we're going to start looping some waters, PEX tubes. There's a lot of waters in this thing, and since my guys really don't know anything, 2 of them, I mean, are brand new, as in the last 3 days. So I mean, they're trying, and you know, they know when I say dig a hole right here, this hole here, that deep, even that, you know, a lot of it bounces off. I have to come back, tell them, you know, because they've never done this before. You're not born knowing this stuff. And the only way that I've learned it is by screwing up so many times over almost 40 years now, that to me it's second nature to understand how to do this. But to my guys, well, they just have never had to do it before. And so I'm hoping to pass on some information to them out of my, you know, vast storage vat of trivia up there. And hopefully, you know, in a year's time, maybe I could produce a guy or 2 who could actually go out and tackle a rough end. That's what it's called, on their own. And so building on slab, that means all the pipes are underground, looking up through non-existent walls. Where's the wall? Find it with the tape measure, buddy. Look at the blueprint. Find it on the print. Translate that number to here. You tell me where the wall is. And trying to get it into their head, you know, and it takes time. But I like the guys; they're good guys, and I hope I'm not being too hard on them. I do get short and grumpy, you know. I'm an old guy, so I guess I have a license to do that. Today we're doing save $1.50 Coors Banquet. I like the old bottles. They call them 1939 bottles. It's like, gee, guys. After almost 85 years, you think you could go out and buy some new bottles? Now I like these stubby little bottles. And the thing is, Coors is an okay beer, but it's kind of sweet. It's not a dark beer. I like darker beer, but I thought, save a buck, why not? So I went around, did a little bit of shopping today. I'm going to go out and butcher the grass. Got another one of these things going on with one of these episodes where somebody asks on Facebook, would you send me a friend request, because we're not in the same circle. So I sent him a request. It's some woman. I've never heard of this. I've never heard of her. You look at the profile. Well, what do you got there? Not much. Not much. No list of friends, no background per se, and just a series of selfies. That's what's in there, the thing. And it started, what, 3 weeks ago? And I'm kind of thinking, gee, this doesn't look suspicious at all to me. So I figure it's some kind of scam. I don't know. Maybe it's a real person. The responses I've gotten back for my question, we're doing texts on Messenger back and forth. Hi, tell me something about yourself. And some of the things I'm thinking to myself, I was getting a little fishy here. Let me guess, you would like to know my social security number, my bank account number, and my VIN number on the vehicle. Is that correct? Well, she didn't ask for any of that. I'm just exaggerating. In fact, I'm not even sure it's a she. In fact, I'm not even sure it's a human. That's where we're at in this world right now. When you're dealing on the worldwide interweb, you see a picture of a young, vivacious young lady. First of all, what would she want to do with an old grump like me? I'm almost old enough to be her grandfather, literally. And it's like, So I've asked her 2 or 3 times rather pointedly, why aren't you dating young guys, like your age, or maybe a couple of 5 years older? I don't know, or younger. Whatever you do. But I don't know. I've blocked, and I think I did a couple of vids about this in the past, so I don't want to wear you out with it. But I've blocked 2 or 3 of these people in the past that are just, it gets to the point where with these so-called text interchanges that are going back and forth, you're sitting there thinking to myself, I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here? Why am I even talking to this person? I've never met them, and I very likely never shall. I mean, in person. What do they need to know anything about me for? And if they want to look at my videos on YouTube, I'll tell you all about me. I'm old and irritating, and I don't smell so awfully great either sometimes after being in the sun for 12 hours. But I don't know. I don't want to be too hard on somebody, but a lot of scams out there. A lot of scams. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. It doesn't actually matter to me. I haven't dated anybody probably. Gosh, I want to say it was the 90s last time I was dating somebody. I think that's right. That's almost 30 years ago. Whew. Really? 2004. Yeah. Almost 30 years ago I quit dating. If this person is even real, if it really is a person, and if I'm understanding the Q&A and the response, this person appears to be 33, apparently. It was about then that I quit dating. Oh, yeah, I wanted to show you my SMS shirt. I don't know if you can read that or not. It stands for text. This is my texting shirt. Just kidding. I was up in Albuquerque, and on the back, the thing I really liked about it, I'm not going to try to show you because I'm never going to line it up right, but on the back in big, bold letters it says, maroon shirt. That's what that is. So SMS is, I don't know, Southwestern Missouri something, state maybe? I don't know. Anyway, this was their marching band shirt. In fact, there she says, I just got a text back in on SMS called Messenger. And it said, nope. I can't remember what the question was that I asked. Literally, in the last hour and a half, I probably shot 12, 14 texts, and she probably sat back and I don't even know what any of this stuff is about. But the thing is that I think everybody's trying to, hunker down in terms of, hey, let's find a shelter. Find a shelter. Why? Everybody knows there's a storm coming. It's a big one, too. And I'm not talking about the weather. You know what I'm talking about. We've talked about this 20 times on these vids. I don't have to worry out. But the point is that a lot of things are moving, a lot of things are shaking up. And I think people are beginning to want to seek safe haven. Well, sorry, dear, if you are a woman, I ain't exactly safe haven. I mean, I don't have any money. I don't have some resort. And I don't have, like, even a butler, to shoot bandits who come by. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. You know, that kind of stuff where you're looking at these texts and you're thinking to yourself, attractive young woman, what would that person want to do if the person lived here or I lived there, wherever that is? That person wouldn't give me the time of day, I can tell, because I've dealt with women low these many years, and I've got some kind of amazing. It's kind of like Tom Selleck is the way I describe it, or maybe Tom Cruise would be a little more, up to date. Tom Selleck, some of you are going, who was that? Well, Grandpa thinks, whatever. Anyway, is an old joke of mine, and it's just kind of like when Tom Selleck walks in, the women in the door, all the women go like this, ooh. When I walk in the door, all the women go, ooh. It's the same kind of idea, but on the other end of the magnet, if you see what I'm saying. And so there's really nothing on that burner. I'm going to probably wait in here till probably a little after 6:30, because the darn thing out there, that heat, the grass is growing so good because I keep watering it. Hey, who saw that one coming? And so I'm going to put on the mower and all that good stuff. Heck, I could probably be out there mowing tonight at 7:30 and still have daylight, plenty of daylight. So the heat hasn't been knocking off around here until 5:30 or 6. I mean, the high for the day. And I don't remember that. I always thought the high for the day was like 2 or 3 hours, like 3:15, 3:30, quarter to 4. That was the high of the day. Not anymore. So who knows? I was watching this crazy video. The so-called climate scientists and geniuses and Einsteinians who are grumping and whining about global warming forever. Yeah, I don't necessarily doubt the globe is warming. However, if you will please pull your head out of that sand heap and look around you. I was looking at some numbers the other day. Apparently, ocean water in some areas is hitting close to 90 degrees, like 90 Fahrenheit, above, like, maybe not into the Arctic Ocean, but in the northern oceans, maybe as far north as maybe Anchorage. I don't know. I didn't actually pick the details out of it. I just scanned the thing real quick, and I just thought 90-degree ocean water. Okay, then I know what's happening. That cannot be a product of solar radiation. Sorry. That cannot be a product of air magnification due to colossal amounts of carbon something in the air. Give me a break, But something's going on down there. We live on a ball of molten rock. Liquid molten rock. 8,000 and something miles diameter. That's a lot of molten rock. So the heat is coming up and transferring into the oceans, because you can't heat the oceans like that with the sun. I'm sorry, it just won't happen. So apparently there's a huge geological shift going on somewhere, probably going to be, volcanoes. I don't know what's going to happen. I keep hearing all this mumbling about Yellowstone supposedly going to go kerflooey. Well, it might. I don't know, but that thing's what you call a super volcano, and that's in an entirely different class. That's like comparing that to a regular volcano would be like comparing a firecracker to about 6 pounds of C4. I mean, there's a huge difference, and you don't play with C4. You play with firecrackers. Okay, you chase volcanoes around with helicopters and snap photos and do scientific readings. Super volcanoes, you run for your life. The last time that sucker blew, there's all kinds of hocus pocus. What they claim to know about it, I don't know how much of what they say they know is even real. But they said they were talking, when Yellowstone blew last time, places as far away as like Little Rock, places as far away as Knoxville, 3 to 4 feet of ash on the ground. Do you realize what that would do to the water? That would poison the ground. I mean, you'd kill off trees, you'd kill off everything. It would be a huge ecological disaster. Or in fact, if a huge meteorite or asteroid slammed into the Earth, and that could happen too. And in fact, I think it will, but never mind that. But the point is that all this kind of, we're dangling on the precipice. We're going to have a financial explosion. We're going to have the mark of the beast. We're going to have everybody's trying to scare you into what? Into seeking shelter. Guess what? they're the ones who provide the shelter, but only for some. Have you done any of these videos where there's supposedly this huge underground storage bunkers full of food and junk? Hey, you ain't invited. Neither am I. But in other words, why would you bother? Why would anyone bother? If you were a multi-billionaire, why would you bother building a huge underground network of tunnels and living spaces with emergency backup power and such stuff, and their own food and water support? What's that about? So maybe somebody knows something. It could happen, and you know, some cataclysmic event. You know what I've got to say about that? My hands are plumber hands. I didn't do it. I can't fix it, and I know the one who can, and the one who shall, the great King. And when he comes, the devastation which he shall wreak upon his enemies will make any number of Yellowstones or falling mountains of rock from outer space look like nickels and dimes. Nothing to it, baby. He's coming with his high holy ones, the true angels who stayed loyal, those guys that muscled these clowns out of heaven in the first place. Don't you realize Earth is essentially a place where they've been chained down? They're no longer able to roam free in the heavens. We live on a prison planet, basically peopled by insane, criminally insane spirits. And so when you speak the truth in this time, then if you're declaring the Christ of God, if you say the 66, the Bible book, as given by God, is his counsel and his message, and we should hear it. We should hear when he says, do unto others as you would have done to you. Well, how would I rather have done to me? Well, for one thing, I'd rather have done to me, I'd rather have somebody just tell me the truth for a second and quit blowing smoke up my ass. Lying. Quit lying. That's what I'd rather have done to me. But apparently our so-called great ones are above that. They have forgotten how to tell the truth, and they shall pay for it. They shall pay for it. Whew. Swiftly. Don't stop running. Don't stop trying. Don't stop working. You do your part. You hold your torch high. You be on time for your job. You fulfill all of the requirements of you in your place. You're not carrying the world on your shoulders. You're not responsible for Western civilization. You're responsible for being good in your family or in your neighborhood or in your church or however you operate. You're responsible there where you're responsible. And then as you prove responsible, he says he will enlarge the scope of your responsibilities. You have proven loyal in little, therefore much shall be entrusted to you. You've been thrifty and honest with nickels and dimes. Here's bags of gold. You know what I mean? So in other words, we're looking at something where right now your decisions are being made for the future. Right now, the who you will be then is being decided now by what you do and what you choose. So choose well and choose right. I say choose Jesus Christ every time. And when we choose him, and what that means is that nothing is worth more than him. He's the most valuable one. He's the centerpiece. But that comes with a price. Might cost me my life. Might cost me my health, I don't know. Might cost me my freedom. Certainly my so-called income. Here's my $4 back. Okay, guys, that's all I got. Whatever. So, well, actually, I got more than $4. I got some pocket change in the back. So you guys don't quit, and don't be spooked by all the creepy stuff. And have you noticed all these weird videos? Do you scroll through YouTube like I do? I don't know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But it's always this stuff like, this was announced 3 minutes ago. The Webb telescope is on the verge of, and then ... on the verge of what? And basically you tune into these dumb things, and all it really is a short little history lesson of the Webb scope. What it's done, how it got there, and what kind of pictures it's taking. The only things that I'm interested in Webb is that, as far as we know out of Webb, the only thing we can say for a certainty about the Webb scope photos, and I don't know how to interpret these things, but the professionals claim that the only thing we can say is that the so-called Big Bang, the Big Bang. You remember Carl Sagan? No, you don't. You're too young for that. Anyway, go look him up. He's this dinosaur talks about billions and billions of galaxies or whatever. I don't know what Carl's about, but the point is that when we get involved with this whole rigmarole, they always want to drop this idea called the Big Bang. And but they can't make the Big Bang work without this weird, mysterious dark matter that no one can find, but apparently is like 2/3 or 3/4 of all matter that exists. It's just there's no evidence of it, except that the structure of the galaxies hold together, and they would need that matter if they were only gravitationally attracted. Blah 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 blah. The only thing they know now is that the Big Bang never happened. Well, guess what? Christian's been saying that for a long time. Someday you might even catch up with Moses there, Einstein. You guys have a good day. Go find some grass to mow somewhere. If you like beer, have a beer, but don't have too much, because the thing is, boy, this hot weather, when you get a little beer in you, I noticed that yesterday. I sat down and had a couple of quarts. Next thing I do, boom, I'm just going to go lay down under the swamp cooler right over there, 46 feet that way. And next thing I know, it's 8:30 at night. Sun's already gone down. It's like, now I'm getting lazy. I just want to lay around. So I thought, I got to knock that off. I got to stay a little more busy. So I'm going to go ahead and mow the grass. I will not retire to bed early tonight. Blah, blah, blah. But on the other hand, I think, hey, Mike, you're an old guy. You're almost 65. Maybe a little nap time might not be such a bad idea. Ugh, Dad. I'll try to make another video soon after we get all of our pecs looped in and all that stuff on that huge house out there. Give you an idea what an underground rough in looks like. And I know I'm real tight. Most of my numbers are real good. I'm off in 2 areas by about 2.5, 3 inches. I don't care. I can fix it in 10 minutes. But we had to get the water load on it, and it's on it. And it looked good by the time I left, but it was right at the end of the day. So that's what we're going to find out in the morning. If that stinker held overnight, it's golden. All we got to do is start running tubes. And sometimes, let's see, I got 1,800. I got, 1,800, 2,000. I got about 2,400 feet. That's almost a half a mile of tubing, and I'm going to use a lot of it. I may not use it all, but I'm going to use almost, maybe we'll call it 1/3 of a mile of tubing in one house to supply all the fixtures correctly: hot, cold, soft, hard, RO, and then hydrants, and then versus irrigation with separate valve control, yada yada yada. And so we're going to make her happen, but it's going to be a hot one out there tomorrow, pushing all that tube. And so you guys have a good day. Get yourself something good in you for dinner. I'm eating probably tonight. I got me some frozen egg rolls the other day at the grocery. Not too bad, actually. Frozen egg rolls, and then get this. You got these little, I've never heard of them before, baby potatoes. They're even maybe a little bit smaller than a golf ball. I guess they just picked them early. But anyway, they're real good. And so what I've been doing with the potatoes is I just pop a couple of them into my mouth and just keep going. I eat them raw. But anyhow, so it's going to be potatoes and egg rolls. And probably a Coors too. Have a good day. God bless. Run fast and run to win.